How's it going in here?
This isn't even my job.
It shouldn't be anyone's job.
Oh, please, don't start that again.
I'm right though. The child or daughter shouldn't have to pick out the clothes that their mother's buried in.
You're right. I shouldn't have to do this, but your older sister hasn't arrived yet.
When does Beauty arrive?
I don't know. She was supposed to be here yesterday, but her flight was delayed. I'm sure Princess Beauty is looking forward to signing autographs.
Must you be so snacks to your own family?
She's not here, Noni. If we're lucky, she'll make it in time for the funeral.
It's not her fault. She thought Ma would be fine when she left to go back.
The Market Theatre curated a series of 30-minute online productions under the banner of Salute the Playwright. Diaparo Tsa Mama is the third production of a series of 10 that is produced under this banner for this season. On the eve of their mother's funeral, two sisters, aged 23 and 29, sought through their beloved matriarch's clothes in search of the perfect fit to bury her in. Their sensitive nostalgia morphs into harrowing discoveries about death, grief and survival. To share more on the online production, we're joined by writer and director Rorisang Motuba. Rorisang, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? It's good to have you on the show this morning, Rorisang.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Let's talk about this heartwarming online production. Just take us through the synopsis. What is it all about?
It's a one-act play, and it's basically two sisters who, unfortunately, their mother has passed away quite recently, and they have to bury her. And so what they do is they are going through her clothes in her bedroom, and they are going through her wardrobe, going through some of her best items of attire that she had on. And they have to sort through her clothes in order to figure out what they're going to dress in, what her final resting clothes are going to be. And through this, they start exploring their own relationship as sisters. They start exploring motherhood. They start exploring grief and mourning and death and life and what it really means. Because that's honestly what happens when someone who is close to you dies, is everything becomes quite vivid and visceral. And so that's the discussion that these two sisters have. And it's quite a raw piece that I wrote, but I think it was something that is appropriate for the times, and people are connecting it, and I hope that people continue to connect with the piece. Yeah.
You know, I was watching the trailer of this film just a short while ago, and it really struck a chord. I mean, I like the relatability of this film. So many people can strike a resonance with it. What inspired the idea, and how long did it take you to come up with it?
Well, what inspired the idea? It was actually about in December, January, the artistic director of the Market Theatre, James Ngcobo, he contacted me because I have a relationship with the Market Theatre. I've done productions there before. And he contacted me, he told me about this series, this Salute the Playwright series. And he said, please, can you write a play? And I said, sure, absolutely, without really thinking about it, because I was so honored by the opportunity. And then when I did meet with James, he said, so what are you going to write about? And I thought, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to say. And what inspired what I eventually wrote was, honestly, just the time that we're living in. I think we're living in quite a tense time. There's a lot of grief that we're surrounded by. A lot of us have lost loved ones, and we haven't been able to say goodbye to them in ways that we traditionally would have. And so for me, the question was, what's going to happen? You know, how do we mourn? How do we grieve? And so that was one of the main themes of this play. It was just about taking people through processes and steps and issues of grief and of mourning and of saying goodbye to people. And so that's why I wanted to write it. I wanted to write it for children who've lost parents, for spouses who've lost, their husbands and their wives. I wanted to write it for family members who couldn't go to the funerals of their loved ones. And hopefully it could be quite a cathartic experience for everybody. It certainly was for me. It was quite difficult to write it, I must say, but I was very pleased with the end result.
You know, Rorisang, in the 30 minutes of the production, what sort of emotions are the viewers likely to feel the most?
I think it depends what you bring to the piece. Grief is quite universal. And in my own personal experience with grief, people respond to death and then grieving in very different ways. So people will probably find the piece difficult at times to watch because we do explore some really honest and brutal truths.
Yeah.
But you'll also be entertained. So there's some very funny moments, very light moments, and quite heart-wrenching moments also, because we're talking about mothers and we all, cherish our moms very much. So I expect people, I hope that people are enlightened by the piece, but I really hope that it triggers us to really be introspective about this time and about saying goodbye to people, and that we start to figure out ways to process this very emotional time that we're living in.
And how has this curation of theatre online allowed for more audiences to engage with your work?
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this, is that because we are living, in this time, and some theatres are open and some aren't, and yes, the market is staging 1 or 2 productions, but ultimately it's very, very limited capacity to which people can attend the theatre at this stage. And so having this, this series of online productions, online plays, it actually broadens our audience, probably even more so than if we were, to actually have people come in. So it means that people can come online and they can buy the tickets and they can watch it as many times as they want. They can gather with their friends and their family. And so because of that, ultimately, it's keeping productions alive. It's keeping theatre alive. It's keeping, just the live performance quality and live performance that we all miss. Everyone wants to go to a concert, everyone wants to go to a movie, everyone wants to go to a show. And this, I think, is a very smart and innovative way to get people to do that.
And how was it like working with Lerato Kwebu and Diaparo Tsa Mama?
It was one of the honors of my life. When I was so lucky when we were auditioning actresses. There's so much talent in this country, but these 2 particular artists are so incredible. They both have been training for years and years, and it shows. It was a very, very short rehearsal period that we had for this project. We rehearsed for maybe 9 or 10 days. And by the second day, both of the actresses were both off book, which means they both knew all of their lines, And so there was very little that I had to do from that perspective. And their hearts were open for me to direct them. It's a very personal piece. So for me, watching them at times, it was quite emotional to see them bring it to life. But they took this piece, they engaged with it, they absorbed it, and I can't wait to work with them again. They're brilliant, and I'm really excited for people to see their work, because I think they're going to be very, very humbled and surprised by just the amazing talent that we have.
And
so
where can this
really
be streamed? Please do share the details of where this can be streamed.
Yes, absolutely can be streamed. So you can purchase tickets on www.webtickets.co.za. Tickets are 50 Rand, and we are streaming the play until the 27th of June, so people still have quite a bit of time to watch it. It's 30 minutes, and I think people will really, really enjoy it. So I appreciate everybody watching and purchasing and tickets and supporting the arts, because that's what's really important. So it's webtickets.co.za. You can watch it anytime.
Okay, Rorisang, great chatting to you. And this is such a piece of magic. Thank you so much for coming up with it. And thank you for sharing and reflecting on South African life, and by extension, African life onto the stage.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Well, heartwarming drama Diaparo Tsa Mama by Rorisang Motuba is currently showing online until the 27th of June as part of the 45 years of the Market Theatre celebration.